So we've just arrived at Charlie Moreland. Quite a big campsite. There's a massive amount of people here, and it's not very private. Like we've managed to squeeze ourselves into a little private corner, which is really good, surrounded by trees. So pretty happy with that. But the vast majority of sites here are, you've got neighbours for sure, and if you like that sort of thing, that's a good thing, I guess, for some people. But I like a little bit of privacy, so definitely isn't one of my favourite campsites so far. The one we just came from, Peach Trees, was awesome, but it's early days. Maybe it'll work out alright. We've been for a walk down to the creek, and the creek certainly looks the bit. It's a beautiful creek, so great for swimming, great for kids, hence the amount of people that are here. And it's the end of a weekend, and I really thought arriving here late on a Sunday afternoon we'd be spoilt for choice in relation to where we camp, but there's a lot of people here, which is good for the camp area, good for Kenilworth. Anyway, it's time to settle down, have a coldie. Morning. This is about day 3, so I'm about halfway through the trip this time. This is our second day at Charlie Moreland, and woken to a very cold one. Now, very cold probably because we used to 28 degrees through the day. Probably not that cold to a lot of you people in a lot of parts of the world, but it's certainly down into the very low teens, possibly even 12, maybe 11 or 12 degrees. So it's cool for us. Enough to put a jumper on anyway and a beanie. Still got shorts on, so I guess it's not that cold. Today is just a mull day. Have some lunch at Kenilworth and come back and mull around for the rest of the day. So a nice slow day. Take a few pictures of this park and give you a look, and that's about it. So that's Charlie Moreland. Down here is Balloomba Creek. That's Balloomba Creek Road. A couple of creek crossings, and some good camping in here. Oh, Charlie Moreland day use area. It looks pretty good. There's quite a good deal of parking. You're not far away from Kenilworth, so just a short drive. You can do a trip to Kenilworth, have a look around the shops, and then a trip to Charlie Moreland for the day use area. Old-fashioned barbecues here. It's got the wood fire barbecue with the old metal plate. How cool is that? Lots of seating, lots of tall shady trees so you can get out of the sun, and there's a couple of walks here to do as well. So highly recommend the day use area. Camping area, very busy. It really should be a four-wheel drive only area. You could get here in a normal car without the four-wheel drive, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Definitely all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. It's a very friendly area for that. Oh, the creek here at Charlie Moreland this hour of the day, it's freezing cold. Almost wish I didn't have shorts. Beautiful creek. Little bridge over here. Expect to see a trail pop out any moment now. Looks like the sort of waterhole that you could actually have a nice swim in and play for the day. So today we're doing a different track. It's Belthorpe Road through the Conondale National Park. A little bit smoother here. We're just on Belthorpe Road. Belthorpe Road got a few little ruts in it, a few mudslashes, but nothing too extravagant. This four-wheel drive track is a track that runs through Belthorpe. We had lunch and we decided to go for a quick drive on the southern side of the Conondale National Park, which is Belthorpe. And Belthorpe Road runs from Jimna right through to almost Kilcoy. There are a lot of little tracks off it, and as you'll see, we take one or two of those little tracks and it becomes quite wet. So it certainly is a track. if you're looking to get your tyres dirty. And as legend has it, this is Yowie country, so keep your eyes peeled. I've made it through onto one of the little tracks, and I get out just to check out the mud here because it looks really thick, really deep. I'm really confident with my D-Max when it doesn't have the Tommy on the back, but with the Tommy on the back, there's an extra ton, 1.2 tonne. And I'm still getting used to that. I'm still learning how to drive with that amount of weight on my tray. These little muddy areas that we go through here today, just before I drive through them, and make sure that I'm going to come out the other side, and if I don't, there's room for my winch. These skinny little tracks are full of little creek crossings. This one, not a creek crossing, it's actually just a big hole in the ground covered in water where the waters run down the hill, and most of them are about between 20 centimetres and 40 centimetres deep. They're not real bad. Because it has rained for the previous week, there's a lot of these uphill tracks and you truly can't tell. The camera doesn't do it justice just how steep some of these hills are. So coming up the other way, you can see the tracks absolutely ground into the wheel tracks actually ground away here. So we do our best to avoid running in the wheel tracks of others or around the outside. That gets us through a little gnarly bit of track. Well, we've had a lot of fun on these tracks today between Jimna and Kenilworth or Kilcoy. Well worth a drive. It's about 100k out from Brisbane. Absolutely sensational tracks. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of tracks. You certainly won't be bored. And if you're a little more adventurous than us, there's a lot more difficult tracks than the ones you've seen in this video. Well, that brings us to the end of another video. Thank you very much for watching. If you got anything at all out of this video, hit the thumbs up for me, that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.